digest. From lane to the new shining ground, echo chants where the legends are found. Heroes carved in the heart of time, we march on through grit and grime. Oh Tottenham, Tottenham till I die. Raise the banner, let it fly. Through the rain, through the fire, this is my club, my only desire. Oh Tottenham, Tottenham till I die. Raise the banner, let it fly. Through the rain, through the fire, this is my club, my only desire. Echoes of King and Greaves in the air. Every goal, the sound declares. Heartbeats pound like a drummer's song, marching forward, fierce and strong. We're the ones who rise in the clash. Numbers running in a white shirt dash. History burns in the roaring crowd. Every game we scream it loud. Oh, Tottenham, Tottenham till I die. Raise the banner, let it fly. Through the rain, through the fire, this is my club, my only desire. We're the ones who rise in the clash. Numbers running in a white shirt dash. History burns in the roaring crowd. Every game we scream it loud. Oh Tottenham, Tottenham till I die. Raise the banner, let it fly. Through the rain, through the fire, this is my club, my only desire.
Hi, guys. Firstly, before we get going, we've got some breaking major news breaking out of Tottenham Hotspur at this very moment. It is top news. It's absolutely going to blow your socks off. So I'm going to play the breaking news song. Breaking news is Spurs did not lose. Sorry.
But this just in, we didn't win either.
No, what we look, we did not lose. I'm sorry. During the when the intro was playing, I thought, what can I do? I got to do it. It came into my head, so I had to do it. Sorry, guys. Sorry, I didn't give you heads up before the stream started.
I was like thinking, my God, what have I missed?
Yeah, we did not lose, which is quite a change. Big up to Steve. Welcome, James. Get people in the chat. We'll get this show on the road as Spurs draw 1-1 with West Ham. Yes, it is. Big up to Donna Collin again, becoming a YouTube member, a bronze membership, joining the THFC Till We Die Army as we march on to the Europa League and Bilbao. Do you know what, guys? Just very quickly on that, on Bilbao. I was asked to go to Bilbao, right? I'm being asked by a few people, would you go to Bilbao? Will you go to Bilbao with us? And do you know how much accommodation at the moment has been asked for out there?
Oh, you're going to probably be talking at least, what, for one night?
I was
250 euro?
No, I was told for one night, $5,000. One place is asking for $5,000.
Is that euro or pound?
Euros.
What?
Ooh, let's just gouge.
Yeah.
Let's just gouge sporting fans.
And I tell you one thing, and I know Collins
I'd picture Tenton Beach.
It's €800 to get the boat over, just the boat with a car from Rosslare to Bilbao because we have a
Right.
boat that goes straight to Bilbao. So if you are looking to make sure my mic's on mute, if you are looking to go to Bilbao, come to Rosslare and get it done here. I'm more because I know you're going with your brother, James. So I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah,
can get,
well,
get the boat over.
I was expecting hotel accommodations, at least for something like that, would be peaking somewhere around like 250, 300 pound a night, which would make sense because obviously it's a final. So everybody's going to try to, earn top dollar, but $5,000 for accommodations, for what, a couple nights? Good Lord, man.
Was it 45,000 tickets on a sort of people on holding for final tickets? You can't get a flight out of Manchester to save your life, can you?
Yeah. No, you can't. No, I've looked at them and there's nothing. I mean, nothing from, there's nothing like from my local, there's nothing from Manchester, there's nothing from Liverpool, there's nothing from Leeds. There's just,
I tell you what, James,
you just can't.
I tell you
fly
what,
into Bilbao?
That's for plan. Yeah, that's for plan. Yeah.
Fly into Dublin. I'll pick you up from Dublin Airport. I'll drive you down to Rosslare, and you get a 22-hour boat from Rosslare to Bilbao.
You get there, but
if I could spend 22 hours on a boat, though, is a long time.
All you need is Wi-Fi.
There's your offer.
All you need is Wi-Fi in your phone, and I think you'll be fine.
Yeah, true. I could swim. I could swim it quicker, though.
Maybe. Hello.
That's funny.
Can you all hear me?
Huh?
Yeah.
Hello. I can't hear you.
Yeah. No, it's
just died.
Yeah, that's funny though. You can swim it.
Yeah, I could swim it quicker.
By the way, do you remember?
Right.
Do you remember that movie, Robin Hood Men in Tights?
All right, James, just take it over for a minute, man, and I'll be back in the.
Yeah, where Carrie Ellis swims from the Middle East, and then you just see the dots on the map going all the way to England.
Yeah, that would be me. Put GPS tracker on. Where's could do live updates? Where's James at now? Oh, there he is. Look.
Yeah, he's currently rounding the south of France, making the turn to Spain.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the plan. I did message my brother about it actually, find out what the actual plan of action is, because the way things are looking is for the easiest way for me to do it is I'm going to have to get a flight out to Amsterdam, and then from Amsterdam down to Bilbao. That seems to be the cheapest and option to do it, and it's not even booking it on one ticket. You've got to book it separately as well. You've got to book it
separately,
So it's
I was looking at airfare. I was looking at airfare from the States, and I just don't like. That's the thing is I take off from Flint here on Friday, so I would literally have to fly in the day before, watch the game, and then try to find a red eye back to the States that same night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't think I'm going to be able to pull that one off.
Anyway, more about that on Thursday night once we reach the final, where we tried to get James over to Bilbao one way or the other. We've worked out we're going to get a speedboat for Steve, Miami Vice style. That's what we're going to do. We'll get him a speedboat. There we go. We'll get Miss America to go with him as well. So there you go. We'll have that covered. Maybe Donna Cullen can give you a private jet, but who knows? James, we will work you out. Now, I am thinking I have been given a dinghy for you if you want to get yourself over there by a dinghy. Now, it's fairly priced at 25 quid. But it does look
reasonable.
It does look a bit rank. There's a few holes in it. So I don't know if that might work. But anyway.
Bit of spit and glue. A bit of spit and glue will do so.
We will get it to Bilbao one way or the other. Big up to Mr. Wayne Bonner. Big up Wayne Bonner as we talked a load of nonsense for 10 minutes. Let's get into what we normally should be talking about, which is Tottenham. Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're well. Feels strange not losing. It does. Even stranger drawing. It does. Overall, impressed with mentality and performance. Absolutely. Big up to Audio Austin, Audio
Artisan,
Anson,
Artisan
as well.
Artisan.
I'm just going to call you Audio. Big up
Audio
Audio.
artisan.
Yeah, artisan. Or afternoon, chaps. Afternoon, Mr. AA. No, audio. Mr. AA doesn't sound right. No, audio. I'm not going with the AA. Look, we have drawn 1-1 with West Ham United at the London Stadium. Tottenham Hotspur have gone there. We've done the job. We've got the point. We're bringing it back to North London. We're happy with that. Steve went for Kevin Danso for his man of the match. So what I want from you guys is, we're going to start with you, Steve, and I'll end up. It's your player ratings for the first 11.
Yeah, interesting, right? So for Vicario, I thought he was okay, not necessarily terrific. I thought the goal that he conceded was a little weak. Now, granted, I kind of paint Ben Davis a little responsible for that, because he could have at least tried to get a foot on it and try to block that one out. But that being said, Vicario can't let a ball through from that angle. So from that aspect, I rate him at between a 6 and a 6.5. For Archie Gray, again, I thought there were times that he looked good, and I thought at times that he was, he kind of got burned a little bit. I have Archie Gray at a 6.5 as well too. I didn't think he was terrible. I just didn't think he was next level great. For Kevin Danso, and Kevin Danso just seemed to be at the in the right spot at the right times when West Ham was rationing up the player and they were pinging balls in the box. Kevin Danso seemed to be at the right spot at the right time, heading balls out of the box. I thought his movement in the buildup was pretty good as well too. So I give Kevin Danso a 7.5. Ben Davis, again, I think today he took a yellow as well too. I thought there were times where he got caught ball watching, letting Jared Bowen just run past him for that first goal. That's still tattooed on my mind. For Ben Davis, I'm going to give him like between a 6.5, somewhere in there as well too. Jed Spence, I thought Jed Spence was solid, but that being said, this is nothing new. Jed Spence is always, for me at least, has always been solid. Always puts in a good workmanlike performance. I give Jed Spence a 7. Pap Sarr, again, it was weird because it was almost like Archie Gray to me. At times he looked good, and at times I don't know. I think he was kind of lacking a little bit today, and I don't know if that had anything to do with Yves Bissouma. But that being said, I'm going to give Pap Sarr a 6.5. Yves Bissouma, I'm going to flat out give him a 6.5. I thought he did some things nice today, but again, I also thought that he was caught out a few times in that CDM role. Dejan Kulusevski, I thought as the game wore on. Now, first and foremost, I like the fact that he played a full 90 today. I thought it was nice seeing him back and being able to withstand it. He did look a little leggy as this game wore on. Some of his movement and a couple of his weighted through balls were undertouched. I just didn't think he had that precision today. So I'm going to give Kulu a 6.5 on the day. Wilson Odebear got the goal, and I thought he started the game incredibly strong. And from that point, as this game progressed, he kind of seemed to get lost as Tottenham kept pushing up that left-hand side, almost seemed to phase Odebear out of it, and because of it, I'm going to give him a 7. Matisse Tell, I thought he again started the game really good, and actually on that goal, it was his press up that won the ball back, that shot the ball across the 18-yard box to hit Wilson Odebear. But again, as this game progressed, he seemed to get a little. I don't know what the right word to describe it, but I don't know. Like he kind of seemed to tail off a little bit, and especially when Mikey Moore came on, you saw the difference. I'm going to give Matisse Tell a 7, and Richarlison, I'm going to give him a 6. And it was there were certain times where Richarlison looked great, but he had 3 clear-cut opportunities to score goals, and if he just had a little bit more clinical finish, we instead of having a draw, we would actually won this game at least 3-1. So I'm going to give him a 6.
And Mikey Moore?
Yeah, I'm going to give Mikey Moore a 7. He came on and he hit the ground running, and all of a sudden, this team looked unbelievably brilliant, and just his energy and his enthusiasm just beyond that pitch, it kind of changed Tottenham's dynamic a little bit.
Yeah. And Ange, what do you give Ange?
I'm going to give Ange. I'm going to give Ange a solid 7. I actually thought his. I thought his starting 11 was pretty good. The only thing that I actually give him a little knock is the fact that he only made one substitution, and I felt like there were a couple guys who could have came off the pitch right around the 70th minute to provide a little extra spark in that finishing third. And I think he kind of missed the boat by not bringing on the Brendan Johnson or maybe even an Ajay for Kulusevski, who was clearly getting a little tired there towards the end of that match.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know what's happening here. I'm just trying to make James he doesn't leave because with the thing going across.
I'm bouncing around like a lunatic here.
Now, for me and James's player ratings, we are going to do that tomorrow. So you get our rating tomorrow. That will be a live show at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. I've got an idea for that.
Mine are all there.
Well,
that's funny.
If you can send them over to me, I've got to put them all together in PDFs. I've got a PDF idea for us. So if you can send me them over. But I do want to talk about individual players, and that's what we want. That's why I've left these up here. James, look, I think 2 players for me that stood out for the game today was Jed Spence and Matez Tail. I thought they were exceptional today. But Danso was Steve's man in the match.
Yes.
I would have to say Jed Spence was mine. Do you agree with Steve, or do you have a different man in the match? Because I thought Jed Spence was exceptional today. I thought he was very professional in what he did.
Yeah.
It was. Do you know what? When because obviously I was watching the game and I was listening to you, and I heard Steve give it to Kevin Danso, and I heard him mention Mikey Moore in the same thing. And I was sat there and I was thinking, if that was me, who am I giving it to? Who am I going to give my man of the match to that game? And I'm probably going to go a little bit out of left field, and I just think I'm going to give it to Sarr for myself.
There you go.
I think he just
shout.
He quietly went about his business. He had a very, like I say, he had a very average play in Bissouma next to him, but he just seemed to be there and deal with things himself. And he was good going forward and good coming.
Yeah,
he was basically being a very, very good, like a good box to box midfielder. What we need him to be, and I just think that's he just quietly went about his business. So for me, I agree. Odegaard got the goal, and Danso was a rock at the back today. But for me, it was I just think Sarr just picked it just, and I mean just. It was a coin flip at times, but when I was really sat thinking about it, I was thinking, nah, I'm going to give mine to Sarr. So yeah, that would be mine.
I'll just give you an update. Yeah, just give you a bit of an update. Chelsea are beating Liverpool 1-0 at Stamford Bridge, by the way.
Very cool.
We went 1-0 up against.
We did. We did. I would love to know. Look, we got a bit here from Ange Postecoglou from his press conference, and I will bring this to you. This is now just dropping now, guys. So just give me a second. Steve, on Kevin Danso, why was he your man in the match?
That's the thing. It's, especially when you consider the last couple performances from this back line, when one of the things that I wanted to see was at least one of those guys being able to step up, because we know Jed Spence is always going to put in a workman-like performance. And I definitely agree with you. I thought Jed Spence was brilliant, but what we really needed, especially when West Ham started ratcheting up the pressure and started getting numbers forward, when you needed somebody to step up to clear, to clear that back line and make sure that nothing got into Vicario, it was Kevin Danso who was stepping up and making some big plays and essentially clearing that box and resetting Tottenham for their buildup. And it just seemed more often time than not that Danso was ready to step up and make a play. And that's exactly what we needed. We needed a leader on that back line besides Vicario. And I thought Danso stepped up and absolutely had a brilliant performance today. And you know what? I actually don't necessarily hate the idea of Pap Sarr. One of the things that I really wanted to see, and he had a rocket of a shot too in the second half. I actually thought that was a brilliant shot on goal. But one of the things that I noticed is that there were certain times where in the buildup when Derma was upset that the ball was being passed backwards, you're looking for runners to make a run into the box. You're looking for you're looking for a way forward. And I just didn't think Papsar necessarily got forward enough. But that being said, I also question about whether or not that was his responsibility today. Maybe it's not. Maybe it wasn't his responsibility, and maybe James is right about it, where he was just strictly there to be a box to box.
Just wanted to give you a little update. This came out at the press conference. Postecoglou on Dom Solanke. He said Dom is improving. We're obviously left him out today, but the medical team are pretty confident he should be fit for Thursday. James, how much inspiration does that give you to have a fit Dom Solanke on Thursday? Did we miss him today, or do you think Richie did the job he was told to do? Because I thought Richie played quite well. I thought he walked off a bit gingerly. I think, Steve, you agreed with me as well. I mean, you watched it. Did you think he walked off a bit gingerly, or did you think it was always a plan?
I think he looked a bit. He probably gingerly is a good way of putting it. I think he looked stiff. I would have said he walked off very stiff. Right. I think he'd run his legs. I think his legs will run. I think he had a good game. Don't get me wrong. But I also agree with Steve. 3-4 really good opportunities to bury the ball in the back of the net, and probably could have done better in certain circumstances. But it's I think he would just run. He'd run his race today, and he was probably just tired. And we've got to remember, Rich is just coming back from another season of stop start, and a lot of injuries that he's gone through over the last 2 years. But I think he played all right. I can't criticize him. And you'll get my play rating on Richie tomorrow when we do our show. So I'm not going to sit here and tear him down, but I'm not going to sit here and say he was phenomenal. But he could have done better. He could have been a lot worse as well.
Yeah. On Dom on Thursday, Steve, how important? Look, and we got some news. Right. Sorry. Go to this one. This is what he also said, Steve, this view about the team. He said, the team proud of the players' efforts. It's not easy making so many changes. It's going to affect the fluency, even the rhythm of the team. But even the individual players haven't played a lot regularly, especially with the one sub as well, Steve. Mm-hmm. How impressed were you with that team today? And it's And's right to be proud of them, because if you look at it from a sort of come out of the Tottenham bubble that we're all in, look at it from the outside in, I think we could all be extremely proud of that 11 today, because I think they were immense man for man.
I would agree with you. And considering that, Ange named a bench, but really there wasn't going to be any substitutions unless there was a major injury. And considering they went out there and they played with grit and they played with toughness, which is something we hadn't seen in quite a while outside of the Europa League. So that's something that I was absolutely happy to see, because, the running narrative is that they're taking the Premier League like summer friendlies. That's how they're approaching these things. Yeah. And some of the results kind of back that up. And then today, I don't know how you felt about coming in today. I wasn't necessarily as confident as maybe you or James was, just coming off the heels of some pretty embarrassing losses, and whether or not they were going to turn up correct. And they did. And so from that standpoint, I'm incredibly proud of them. Because I thought this team played together. I thought they were, I thought at certain points they even looked a little clinical at times. But that being said, one of the things that I'm absolutely proud of is that they fought for this one. And I think I might have mentioned it towards the dying moments of that match. It looked like the last 15 minutes was all West Ham, and they were getting numbers forward. They were really, really trying to get that win. And this team grouped together and denied them the opportunity to steal one away. And that shows heart, that shows character. And in some ways it shows a little bit of leadership as well too. And, I've been questioning whether or not these squad players are good enough. And with a performance like this, it makes you really sit back and reevaluate and think to yourself, well, you know what? Yeah. Maybe there was more to it than just, scratching the surface of some of these other losses. And maybe these guys actually have heart and commitment to the bench.
And that's all we've ever really asked for, is just show some
Correct.
commitment, show some heart. Now, this was his comment on James Maddison, which for me is a little bit worrying. No, it doesn't look great, but we're just waiting for further information. We will just wait and see. Hopefully, we'll probably get some clarity tomorrow. It's fair to say it doesn't look promising. Now, I'm looking at this two ways. Is he putting this out there because of the mole within the club? Is he trying to fish him out? Or is this genuine? Do you know? Has this mole become more of a problem for Ange than it seems? Because do we take this as clarity that James Maddison is a major doubt for the rest of the season? You could say, or is this him saying, "We'll see what happens"?
Let's smoke him out. Yeah.
I mean,
send one down the pipe and see if it comes back. Absolutely, great question, Dermot. Great question.
We got totally blindsided with Bergville on Thursday.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, blindsided.
Everything I was saying was it basically twisted his ankle.
Yeah.
In the pre-game warm-up. I mean, all of a sudden it comes out of nowhere. But that's it. That's his season done. And it was like, I mean, I hold my hands up. I mean, I told you, Dermo, on Thursday, but he's just tweaked his ankle. It's nothing too serious. And
look,
like
that was not at you. But the question I'm asking,
no, absolutely not.
Yeah,
is Ange trying? I would love to know. I would love to know what you guys as well. We got here audio saying Ange setting traps. Yeah.
Yeah.
Extra, I'll go. There's a few comments I want to get back to, but this one, I think he is. I think he is setting the trap here. Steve, what's your thought on it? If there's a mole in there, we think we know who the mole is, right? We think we know who they are. But with Paratici coming back in, which we broke first, by the way, I'm going to keep saying that because we did break it first. Me and Steve broke that. James was. Can I just say James was in the process as well. He did.
Yeah, let's not leave James out of this equation.
Actually, no, hang on. You're the first one to tell me, James, that Paratici was back.
Yeah,
you were.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think you were.
So
wait, hang on. It went from England to America to Ireland to Doncaster, and we went live with it. So it went all around the world, and then we went live with it.
This type of information is only known by a handful of people, and if one of those people are the mole, and I'm looking at you, Scott Munn, then like as a manager, as a manager, I'm not putting out any positive information. I am not giving Bodo Glimt any opportunity other than to think that he's not going to be playing. And if it comes out, because only 5 people know that James Maddison's going to be ready for Thursday, and that so Ange is putting this out and saying, "Hey, listen, I wouldn't get your hopes up. It doesn't necessarily look good. And if it comes out within the next 3 days that he's going to be ready for Thursday, then we'll know for a fact that the mole is exactly who we say that mole is." That was a very excellent question, because what's interesting about this is when he got hurt on the play. Yeah, I know, subtle dig. When he got hurt on the play, it didn't look like James Maddison actually was hurt. It looks like he was it looked like it was almost he was dealing with cramps, but Ange Postecoglou took him out as a precaution. Okay, fair enough. And everything on his body language, his expression on his face did not say that anything else was serious with it. It just looked like it looked like a player dealing with cramps or a player who's potentially milking clock, right? So all of a sudden he comes out. He has, they say that he went through a scan. Okay, great. If this really was an injury that was going to be a long-term injury, we would have heard that he had torn something by now, and we're not hearing that. All we're hearing is it don't get your hopes up. And so from that standpoint, when you ask that question, Durham, I'm like, you know what? 4D chess. Yeah, audio artisan is saying like, yeah, Ange is setting traps, and I'm like, you know what? That's not a bad call, Durham.
Yeah, I want to ask you. I want to be a little bit more
Scotland.
Yeah, I mean, we're not supposed to. I mean,
it's out there.
It's out there.
It's out there, Dermo. It's out there.
You're on mute, bud.
You've gone.
You're on mute. No, man, your mic went out, bud.
My mic. See,
there you go. There you go. Oh, now you're gone again. Mute.
For fuck's sake, leave my mic
There
alone.
you go. There you go.
Hell. I want to be hypothetical with you though. What happens if it's true? I have to be hypothetical. I'm sorry. I have to be hypothetical. If this is true, how big of a miss would Madison be on Wednesday? And with Ange coming out now saying it, I agree with Steve. I think this is a trap.
Yeah, I do.
It's a trap.
I mean,
I think he's laid I think he's dug a hole, put spikes in there, and he's basically waiting for the mole to walk in and impale himself.
Yeah.
Big up to Danny. Yeah, Scott Mon is hacking with them for years. Big up to Danny. I haven't seen you before, man. So please like and subscribe. Whichever channel you're on. If you're on Steve's channel, like and subscribe then come over to us and do the same to us. If you're on my channel, then do that and go over to our American sister channel. Show our sister channel some. Maybe we should call it our brother channel, but doesn't sort of ring off the tail. Sister channel sounds better.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Sister, brother, it's all in the family.
Yeah. Steve's not a woman, he is a man, believe me. Anyway, I'm going along then. This show's going from bad to worse. I swear to God, it is.
To answer your question,
please get it back to football.
If it is legit, here's the crazy thing. Number one, I'm so glad that Dejan Kulusevski got a full 90 today because that's going to help quite a bit. That at least he's going to be able to stay out there for 70 minutes before Ange potentially could make a trade. But if it's true that we're out without James Madison, Ange is going to have to play a far more pragmatic game that he would actually like. Think about Liverpool in that first leg of the Leagues Cup, where we are essentially two compact lines of four, almost playing that little 4-4-2 counter defensively, and then quick strike on the counter. Because that's what's going to have to happen. Like I would assume that Bodo Glint's going to try to throw everything, the kitchen sink at us within the first 30 minutes. And so if we're without one of our main playmakers, then we're going to have to be far more pragmatic and far more compact in the midfield and also in the back. And then just hope that Dejan Kulusevski comes right on Thursday, that he can actually give some sort of spark creativity in the counterattack. 100%.
James, look, you and me, you've got good sources. I have good sources.
Yes.
We have good sources as a channel. You do too. What is your inkling telling you? What's your gut telling you? My gut's telling me this is a trap. That is laying a trap out.
My gut. That's pretty much what my gut's telling me is that there's probably and it's very much like what Steve was saying is like when you actually watch that game and when Madison came off, if he thought it was, even if Madison thought it was serious or semi-serious or anything, he would have been a lot more disappointed that he was going to miss the second leg or potentially miss the final because he was injured. But you would have seen it in his face. He didn't look distraught. He didn't look like he was walking in pain. He didn't look like he was. He didn't look like he was like absolutely gutted that he were being taken out of the game. It just looked like, okay, Madders, thanks very much. You've done a good job. You've had a good hour. You've done well. We're going to pull you, and we're going to give Cully half an hour. And I just think, look. To me, I think he's dug a hole and he's put some wooden spikes in there and he's letting this person walk in and basically, and look, we know that, like I say, we know Paratici's coming back, so that's Joanne Lang out the door. Paratici will not want to work with somebody who's going to undermine the team. So that's Scott Munn out the door. Paratici's going to want to do things Paratici's way. And
he will do.
When we look at how we were our recruitment before Paratici got his footballing ban, it was so much better than what it's been while we've been without Paratici.
It has been. It so has been.
So,
I mean,
so
James,
to me,
Yeah.
To
Go on,
me,
man.
it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer to me that these people have fundamentally let Ange down. They've actually, like we broke, they've actively worked against him. Actively
Yeah.
worked against him.
So
So,
the
look,
question in my
it's-
head then for that is for you, have we been too harsh on Ange? Look, I've always wanted Ange to work. I've never been Ange out. I'm just angry with the performances. That's my view all the way along. I've been angry with the performances. Certain people on YouTube channels are taking me out to be Ange out. I am not Ange out. I am Ange in, always have been, always will be. I know what Ange Postecoglou can do. I want him to work. I want him to win the Europa League. I want him to be successful. I want him to become my most successful manager since Keith Birkinshaw in 1984. But I'm angry with the performances. And in that performances, you're emotional. And football is about emotion. Football is all about emotions and how you feel direct after a game. And I've come out and said, I've had enough of Ange. I want Ange out. And I've done streams say, well, I'm done. Because I've been that angry with the performances. But when you look back at it in the cold light of day and you look at the game again, is his tenure at Tottenham all been with one high tide behind his back? And the answer to that is yes. Because if you've got two people not working for him, how can you manage a football club? You can't. Today shows the example. He can manage in the Premier League.
Yeah.
He's
today. The crazy thing, Dermot, is that when you step back and you look at everything, it certainly does have that appearance. Now, that's not to say that Ange doesn't have some fault, because there have been multiple games this year where you questioned his match day squad, and you mentioned you look at some of those starting 11s from previous match days, and you're kind of scratching your head like, I have no idea what he's doing. And of course, the results played out there. But then he's also had match day squads that were absolutely picked brilliantly, and Tottenham goes on to have a brilliant result. That being said, when I take in all the transfer windows that we've had last summer, specifically last summer, and then also in January, and when I look at the fact that Paratici before him, and when you look at the players that were brought in, and you look at what he was trying to do to play to the strengths of his own manager, one makes you ask whether Johan Lang and Ange Postecoglou are even on the same page, because some of these players that have come through the door do not fit Ange Postecoglou at all. Yeah. And so it is what it is, right? So you have to ask yourself: are these two guys in the front office potentially working against their own manager? I can't necessarily say for certain, but that being said, the best trait of a director of football is understanding his head coach and his head coach's strengths, and making sure the players that come in through the door match those strengths to a T. Even if they're young kids, as long as they have the attributes of the way the manager likes to play football, you're going to be able to develop correctly. Yeah, I can't necessarily say that's happening right now. I can't necessarily say that.
No. Big up to just go through some of the chat here. Big up to Mr. Brady, the godfather of this channel, the man that likes sending horse's head to me, like Steve, like James gets soup for dinner. I mean, I've got more horses' heads in my cupboard than anyone. He is the godfather, and he's the godfather for the reason. That's why everyone in Leech Room is scared of him.
What's up, Bill?
He's a godfather. Big up,
What's
Mr.
Brady.
Brady. Mayo, 8 points down. I have to. Philip, do you have to come in and depress me even more? I know Mayo at the Tottenham GAA. Seriously, you have to come in and tell me. I was really hoping for a Mayo win today. It ain't gonna happen. Oh, Jesus. Mayo, can you please just win me an All-Ireland before I die? Just please do that for me. If you're listening, God. Philip Brady wants Klopp.
Yes. Jurgen.
Yeah.
Jurgen.
I think Aussie dude makes a very good point here. Philip does make a good point. I'm going to do this the wrong way round. I want to say, oi, oi, legends. Big up to you, Johnny. Philip says, seems that was one of the worst Prem games of the season. Yeah, we've got a point, though, Philip. Be grateful for small mercies. Me and Steve I don't know how me and Steve kept awake. I think it was our commentary that kept everyone awake in that game. It made it sound more exciting than what it was, really, to be fair.
I'll take the result, just considering the last on the watch longs that I've done for the Premier League have all been absolute humiliating losses. So I'll take the point.
I take the point. Big up to Danny Boy. Danny says just been confirmed by Ange Don. We just broke that as well. He will be for Thursday. Philip says Bodo or Bodo had no game this weekend. That is true. So that might play a factor. Aussie Dude says Paratici wants Inzaghi. We haven't learned anything from Conte. We should keep Ange. Right. Okay. If it's a thing between Inzaghi and Ange knows the players. Ange for Paratici. I was saying it last night. An Ange and Paratici partnership. We haven't seen that. Do you know what I mean? We've never seen that work.
No.
With an Ange, I think an Ange and Paratici partnership would actually work, you know. If Ange wins the Europa League, and we have broke it as well, that it becomes very difficult for Daniel Levy to sack Ange Postecoglou, even with new owners, for them to change the manager after he's won you the second major European trophy in Europe. So, at that point, then, does a Paratici-Ange partnership work better? Then he's not going to work against Ange. But Paratici didn't want Ange as manager either.
Correct. Now, if let's say that he wins and Daniel Levy forces Ange on Paratici, at least it would work for a year. You would think Paratici would do everything to make sure that Ange actually has a squad that will compete. And if we're having the same questions about inconsistency in November and December this year, then it gives Paratici the excuse to sack him at that point. And then we can either go with an interim until the summer of 2026, where he can bring in his own guy. The question is going to be like Europa League. It almost feels like it's Europa League bust at this point, and how that's going to play out. You get what I'm saying? It's like I can see a scenario where Levy says, "Okay, Ange, you want us a major trophy? We can't." It's almost like we keep bringing this up. It's almost like the Ten Hag situation at Man United, when you're about to get sacked, but you win the FA Cup, so they got to bring you back. And if it goes wrong, it goes wrong. We'll sack you, and then we'll move on from that. So we'll see.
I agree with Ozzy, dude. I don't know if you do, James, that Inzaghi wouldn't work at Spurs. It didn't work.
No.
Under Conte.
Why? Because he's Italian.
No, because of the way it's the football. That I know. I said yesterday I would take anything to win, but I went to the AC Milan Tottenham game in the quarterfinals, around the 16, the champ. Philip Brady was there with me the same night. He can vouch for me for this. The football that night was dire. It was boring. I mean, me and Philip, nearly at one point, you one Conte watch along. We both nearly fell asleep. It was that boring. Apparently to somebody, this is true as God, somebody was watching it and they told me about a year later. I won't tell you what they were doing, but he said it was the most funniest thing they've ever watched, because me and Philip are quite enthusiastic. As you know from my watch along, I can be quite passionate and I can be quite excitable. James is thinking, Jesus Christ, just calm it down, Dermot. Steve is thinking, I don't know what I let myself in for. And
I was going to say, it's like, I've seen Inter Milan on a few occasions this year in the Champions League, and their attack looks absolutely bulletproof. But that being said, is that a product of Serie A and the drop of talent that Serie A has compared to the Premier League?
That's my. Italian managers do not fit the Premier League now?
Right.
Who I like to come? I would like Jurgen Klopp, knows what he's doing. I would like Xavi. I would love Xavi. Now, we know Xavi could be going to a Saudi Arabian club. I would love Xavi. You broke it to me yesterday, didn't you, not Mr. James down below? You sent me a little message yesterday. So would you like to repeat what you told me? Because I think this is really interesting.
So what I, from my source close to the club, was Xavi to Spurs.
Can I just say this is a? Can I just say this is a rumor? This is only a rumor.
Yeah.
Xavi to Spurs. Expect some movement within the next few days. That's what I got. That's all the information I got. I didn't get any kind of details. I didn't, here there wasn't. I asked for some kind of clarity on it, but there was nothing. All I got was that bit of information, and that's all. I can't say anymore. He says to me, James, I cannot say anymore. Just Xavi to Spurs. Expect some kind of movement within the next few days. Now, whether or not that's ruled out completely, because obviously we know about the Saudi interest, or whether or not it is a case of European football. Yeah, it could be. It could be that I mean, very much like our transfer strategy is we are linked to so many players every transfer window. Before we signed Ange, I lost count of how many different managers we were linked to.
Well, look was like, before we got Nuno, how many managers we went through.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. Can I ask you a question, James? Now with Ange Postecoglou officially in that position, can they quietly agree to terms with a Xavi, knowing that he's still in that position and waiting to the end of the season where they can just make that announcement? Can they quietly agree to terms, or is that violating any type of Premier League rules where you can't necessarily name a manager while a manager's in place?
So, as far as I'm aware, you can have conversations, and you can what they would call a gentleman's agreement. So it's like I'm going to shake your hand, you're going to shake my hand, and come the end of the season, we're going to pull the plug on Ange, and then there's your contract, you sign it. Pretty much like what happened with. Now, you can't tell me when we sacked Pochettino and Mourinho came in.
It's like the next day.
It was like it was less than 12 hours after, or just 6 hours after the announcement. Yeah. 6 hours after the announcements of Pochettino being sacked, we've got Mourinho. So there had to have been some kind of discussions before that happened, and I think that is pretty much what is happening with the Xavi one. I think what's happening is Levy's gone to Xavi. He's basically had discussions, or Paratici's gone to Xavi and said, look, blah blah blah. This is the situation. This is the situation we found in. We know you are getting interest from the Saudi clubs. Do you want to manage in a Saudi club, or do you want to manage at the pinnacle of football in the Premier League?
Right.
If you want to manage at the pinnacle of football league at the end of the season, this job is yours if you want it. So, and I think that's what I'm reading between the lines a little bit. I think that's pretty much what's happening there.
It's also with Paratici and Levy having that gentleman's agreement to come back to Tottenham. They've had that gentleman's agreement for the last year. Now there was interest from AC Milan, but Paratici was always intending to come back to Tottenham. So
he felt like he had unfinished business at Spurs.
Yeah, he does. So go on, Steve.
So we have heard that Tottenham wants to replace Ange Postecoglou with a big name that has big time experience, right? Which is why Jurgen Klopp fits that bill. And I still think that they should at least give him a call and see if he's interested, right? Because we have a ton of money to throw at him, and to me, I think Jurgen Klopp makes perfect sense for Tottenham Hotspur. It's a perfect project for a dude that's already resurrected 2 different clubs on projects and won Champions Leagues with both of them, right? So to me, he is like the project whisperer at this stage of his career. He can turn around any club, right? But that being said, does Xavi meet that bill? Because if he goes to the Saudi league, he's doing it clearly for the money. But does Xavi actually meet that criteria of a big name coach with big time experience outside of Barcelona?
For me, it's great we're talking about all these managers. I get the point you're making, Steve, but Ange is still in the job at the moment, and we still don't know on 100% what's going to happen with Ange Postecoglou. We don't know. It all depends on Thursday, I suppose. Somebody put it in the chat. I don't know where it was, and it's a very good point, and I think it's in it. Gerard put it. Thursday, sink or swim.
Yeah,
for me.
Yeah.
And now, look, I'm all confident we're in the final already. I don't care about the second leg. We're gonna get to the final. Now, is that me being deluded? Is that me being foolish? Probably, but that's who I am, and I ain't gonna change for nobody. But Angie's still in the job. Oh, we're only 3. Oh, good. Come on, Mill. Come on. Get back in there, Mill. Come on. 3 down. Come on. We can do it. We can do it. The Sam is ours. The Sam Maguire Cup is coming back to Mayo after 50 since 1951 when we went past the funeral and we were cursed for 50 odd years. That is true. That is a true story. This Mayo have never won. If anyone doesn't know GAA, we have a football over here. That's why we call football soccer over here, because GA football is. Oh, make that too. Don't, Philip, you get me excited now. You get me with 2 points behind Galway. Come on, we can beat Galway. Come on, our West rivals.
Let's
Come
go,
on.
Mayo. You know, Aussie dude here. Yeah, look at what Aussie dude says.
Xavi has top player quality in the pitch. He wouldn't work at Spurs' system, right? So look. We're talking about other managers, but we seem to forget about the big manager that's in the chair, Ange Postecoglou.
Yeah.
If he wins the Europa League, and we have broke it on this channel, that it does become very difficult to sack a manager that's won a major European trophy.
Right.
Are we showing a bit of disrespect to Ange Postecoglou because of?
No.
I think we are, and I explain why. I think we are. He's got us further to it in the European competition than anyone else bar Pochettino. Do you know, he could get us to a final like Pochettino done. But one thing with Ange, he has to announce to win that final. And I think whoever we meet, and I think it's going to be Man United in the final, he has their number. So if he wins that Europa League, he'd be the first managers than Keith Birkinshaw since 1984 to win a European trophy. And then you got a chance to win your second European trophy by going competing in the European Super Cup. So there's 2 trophies there. What's all? What gets me is the league form has been dire. The league form, and a manager, and I've said it before on here, a Premier League manager is either lives or dies by the Premier League results. So are we getting into a Ten Hag situation where Ten Hag wins the FA Cup again, wins another trophy? Man United, we can't really sack him because he's won us a trophy. We can't forget. I agree with Danny. I agree with his comment here. Yeah. We can't ignore the league form, whether he wins it or not. We don't need, and this is the problem. Are we sleepwalking into a Ten Hag moment? And I think we are. I think quietly and silently we're walking our way into a Ten Hag. So do Tottenham have to come out now one way or the other and say this is what's happening next season?
That's a bit. Here's the thing, and that's why it's not necessarily disrespect, because he's about to set the record for the most losses any manager has had in the Premier League season. Right now, in a vacuum, you look at his League Cup run, which was good. He got to within 90 minutes of Wembley, and now you look at this run. Yes, it's been good, but you said it yourself. How many dozens of times there, Dermot, that the bread and butter is the Premier League. That is your first objective, is to finish as high as you possibly can, if not win the Premier League, because winning the league solves everything. And this team has been absolutely dreadful. And so the question always becomes is like, well, if these players have sacked off the Premier League for chasing for a piece of silver, that being said, is that a direct reflection of the guy who's in charge? Because if he's doing it, the players are doing it as well too. And so you have to take all of that into consideration. Like you, I respect the hell out of Ange Postecoglou. I know exactly what he's capable of doing. But because this season has been an absolute train wreck, and I don't count the injury crisis against him. What I count is once the first team was back and once they were healthy, and the results before it and the results after that have just literally not been good enough. It has not been good enough. Europa League notwithstanding. So that's, as far as I'm concerned, man, it's not disrespect to talk about the rumor mill, because at the end of the day, right, James, and you, I'm sure you understand this, Derma, where there's smoke, there is definitely fire. If it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, it's certainly not a cow. It's a duck.
I get it. I do understand it, and it's true. There is no smoke without fire, and I do like walk like a duck, talk like a duck. I love that saying. Always have done since I was a kid.
Yeah.
Only 1 point now. Come on, Mel. Come on. Come on. You can do
I just saw
Come
it
on.
come up, Dermo. I had to put it up here for you. But
As
he
you
also
can tell-
says this as well.
Yeah. Go on. Do you want to read it out? Go on, James. You read
Yeah,
it.
it says, imagine the buzz next season, Europa League trophy and a mega manager. I mean,
manager.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that would be, it would, look, it was, we all want the best for Spurs. We all want to see us doing well. We say it week in, week out. We want to thing it. And look, I'm in agreement. I don't think I'm disrespecting Anja. I think he's done a cracking job. Look, the injuries were the injuries. Last year, his first season in charge, he got us up to 5th. Look, we have developed, but this season has been an absolute train wreck. And
It has.
and I saw somebody. I can't remember where it was. I'll see if I can find it in there.
Sorry,
It was just before. Boris says it here.
Yeah.
Well, we can sack him. We did it with Ramos, even though he won a piece of silverware, and we let him go because of his poor league form. That is exactly the same. To me, yes, the Europa League is bigger than the Carabao Cup. Of course it is. Of course it is. But at the end of the day, we could sack him still. Look, I would love to see Ange succeed. I was when he came in and we started playing the attacking brand of football again. I would love. It lit my life up again. I don't think Inzaghi is the right manager for the job because I think he's too defensive.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone put in the comments about Xavi. He says that he likes to spend money and use the youth system, which we don't like doing. Well, if we look at our bench today, had 2 youth players on it, and you look at Archie Gray, he's pretty much, you could classify him as a youth product or a wonder kid.
Same with Bergvall.
Yeah, Bergvall. So you can't say that we've not developed it, we've not brought in youth players. So that would fit Xavi's kind of structure of what he would want. And like what me and you broke, Dermo, last week or the week before, about Spurs' war chest for the summer of or for next season of 300 million. And that's not including any sales that we do. Because I did read that we're going to have to sell to before we buy. I don't believe that. I don't think our finances are too strong for us need to sell to buy. So I think Xavi would be tempted by us because it would be something he would be able to do. The Premier League, having the money and having a good youth structure, I think he would be tempted. But like I say, the money of the Saudi Pro League might be just too much for him to turn away.
Look, Ollie, look, everyone can have an opinion. Look, I'm nobody's a flip-flop here. We all could be angry with results. We can all be angry with Ange for not picking players or not getting it wrong. We're allowed to have our opinion just because we sometimes looking at opinion from outside the box and looking in. We get called flip-flops. Look, I've got called out by another channel telling me that I shouldn't support Tottenham because I don't support the team. Well, I do support the team. I'm here every week supporting the team. Good, bad, and the ugly. So, you know, I want Ange to succeed, yes. Do I want Tottenham Hotspur to continue on to being successful? Hell yeah. I want trade. I mean, it's like Wayne Bonner says here. Gerard says, Demo, do you want top 4 of Europa League? I want a Europa League all day long. I don't care.
I don't want either there though, Demo. I want both.
Yeah. So
there's a difference. There's like, do I want top 4 and to win the Europa League? No, I want both. I want us in the top 4 and challenging for the Premier League, and I want us winning the Europa League if that's where we're at.
Goes with parity and having a manager.
That's exactly right, James, because that's my bar as well too. Like, there's no reason why we can't consistently win the Premier League and be that type of club, and that's my bar every single season. My next trophy is the FA Cup. I think the FA Cup still definitely holds a lot of stature in mind. And if you can actually get on a European run, whether it's the Champions League or the Europa League, more power to you, right? Like, to me, it's like your priority has to be the Premier League title, and that's how you're supposed to build your team. And if you're not, what are we doing here? What are we doing here?
I'm just asking the question. He asked me a question. I'm just
Yeah.
answering. It says, "Do you want top four or the Europa League?" I answered the question.
I
I
want-
No,
agree
no,
with
no.
you.
Yeah.
I agree with you
I-
two. I agree.
I
I
want
want
the Premier
both,
League.
but yeah, but look, look. Every season we believe we can win the Premier League. Every season we're going to win the league. It never happens, but I'll always believe we haven't won the league since 1961. So we've always been a cup team. Tottenham have always been a cup team that have won in cup competitions. We've never been that consistent to win a league. Would I like us to win a league? Hell yeah. Do I want us to challenge in all four competitions? Hell yeah. But you also got to be realistic. And I think Gerard was just asking me, would I, this season, would I prefer top four or the Europa League? You go for both, of course you do. But if I had to pick
go for
one over
both.
the other, I go for the European Trophy because that gets you in the Champions League, that gets you into the Super Cup.
So does
That
so
brings
does
in
when,
better
so,
quality.
so does finishing in the top four. That gets you the
Yeah, but
Champions
top
League as
four
well
is not a
too.
trophy, though. Top four is not
Yeah.
a trophy.
Correct.
And we've been
Correct.
starved of trophies since 2008, and I want a trophy. I want us to be winners. We've been in too many finals where we finished runners up. We've been in too many semi-finals where we've blown it. Under Pochettino, how many semi-finals and finals did we get to? The FA Cup semi-final against Chelsea, where he plays Sonny as a left wing back. We get to a Champions League final. We play in half fit Harry Kane up front instead of playing Lucas Moura, who got us there up front. You get to two League Cup
but it's Harry
finals.
Kane.
Yeah, and you get to. It doesn't matter if it's Harry Kane or not. It's still a half fit Harry Kane. You still play your fit 11. You get to a League Cup final and sack your manager that could win you that League Cup final 6 days before that final. You get to one under Pochettino, we don't win. Do you know? I am sick of losing. I am sick of coming up short. I just want to win. And if that means Ange Postecoglou deliver us the Europa League, I will take that over top four any day of the week, hell over high water. And look, and I agree with you. You go into every season, you want to win everything. You want to be like Man United. You want to dominate like Man United. But you also got to be realistic. You got to pick your battles. To win your war, you got to pick the right battles to win the war at the end of the day. And we're not there to compete for the Premier League as much as we all want to win the Premier League. We're not capable of winning the Premier League because haven't got the right structure to win it. Maybe in a few years' time, yeah. But to win a cup competition, hell yeah. To win an FA Cup, we can win that.
Yeah, I'm just saying for me, I just want us to win the biggest cup that there possibly is, which is the Premier League trophy. But that being said, Ed right here says the bare minimum should be finishing in the top 6. Anything below is not good enough, and that should be the baseline. But that should not be what you're consistently building to. You're building to win the ultimate prize, which is the Premier League. And again, like if we like that's why I always have it Premier League, FA Cup, and then any European championship that you can get your hands on. And that should be your, to me, as far as I'm concerned, that should be how you build your team first and foremost to win the Premier League. And if you can't, then your squad's going to be good enough to go on any cup run or European run.
It's all about mentality. It's all about mentality and having and you look at the Man United side under Fergie, right? He was allowed to go out. Fergie wanted, say, Harry Kane, right? If say Alex Ferguson said, right, I want Kane and Son, Man United would have gone out and bought Kane and Son. Now, with Paratici coming back in, either that's with Ange Postecoglou or whatever manager's in charge, they've got to be fully behind that manager and get the players he wants. We've never backed a manager. That's why we'll never be competing for anything other than top 4. The mentality of Tottenham is top 4, and that's enough. That mentality has to change. That mentality has to stop. And you do that by winning a trophy. If you win a trophy...
I think the
only...
Steve
said it. I just want to
person... I was going to say real quick, the only person who I think has the top 4 mentality is Daniel Levy, and it's all purely financial.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Steve Perryman said it back in the 80s. Once we won the 81 Cup final, we had the confidence within the group to go on and win another FA Cup, to retain it the following year, to go on to reach a League Cup final against Liverpool, which they should have won, but they lost 3-1 to extra time. Get to a semi-final of the Cup Winners' Cup, win the UEFA Cup. We won that UEFA Cup with a second-rate team. No Glenn Hoddle, no Steve Perriman. Yeah, we had Graham Roberts and Paul Miller and Tony Galvin. Ozzy Ardiles, to this day, I still don't know how he missed from 2 yards out and hit a crossbar. I would just still love to know how he did that. And then there's Graham Roberts there to, the one about James, I still don't know how he fucking misses it.
No,
Steve,
I don't either.
You got to watch that. Ozzy Ardiles misses from two yards out. Was it 2 yards?
It might have been 5, but
yeah,
it was inside the 6-yard box anyway. We'll put it that way.
And he hits the
how did he do that? It's like it's one of those. It's like when you watch them like old video football bloopers, and it's like it was one of them. It was like how did he do that?
18 inches apparently. Philip says he was out measuring it. Gerard makes a very good point. If we win the Europa League, who will remember the team that got to the Champions League final or indeed Poch? That is so right, because all they remember is winners. Yeah. Everyone remembers the 84 UEFA Cup winning side. These players are on the crisp of becoming absolute legends of Tottenham Hotspur Football Club.
Yeah,
they are the team to march on from the 84 side. And it's been too long. Can you imagine Tottenham Hotspur winning a European trophy? I mean, it doesn't bear.
Well, it's so funny considering that we're probably going to finish 16th or 17th in the league, and that's that is the most amazing part about this season, is if we can go on to hoist the second biggest trophy in Europe while we've had simultaneously had a train wreck of a Premier League season. You're absolutely right. That it actually would be legendary status because of just how crazy the season has gone.
Yeah, it does. Wayne says, 100%. I still want the FA Cup. Don't care about top 4. That becoming an obsession with our fan base. I don't care about top 4. I want cups. Fan base, that creates ridiculous expectations, anger when they are not met. Look, Spurs have been a cup side from 1962 onwards. You look what we've won. We've won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 FA Cups. We've won 2 UEFA Cups. 4 League Cups. I hope I'm getting this right in my head.
8 FA Cups.
No, no, from 1962 onwards. So 62, 67, 81, 67. No, 62, 67, 81, 82, 91. That's 5 FA Cups.
Yep. 5 FA
71, Cups. 73, 89, 99, and 2000. That's 4 League Cups. 63, 72, and 84, 3 European trophies. And we've won 1 league.
I thought you were going to. I thought you were going to.
I'm just adding from 1962. From 1962 onwards, we have become a cup side. Oh God, Gerard, please go. You're making this, and I have to go and watch it now. Anyway, Michael, I still remember. I remember the 80 team fondly. It won nothing but goes down. Yeah, it's like a Poch era, 87. Don't mention 87. Philip's in the room. He doesn't like mentioning 87. Doesn't like Coventry. I have the 6-2 victory over the Huns that I played when I feel down. Do Spurs fan have a DVD you put on when you're in similar mood? I put on the 1984 UEFA Cup final. I play that if I want.
I put on the 1990-91 FA Cup final.
I put on Michael McDonald's greatest hits when I'm feeling down.
Can I just say? If
I have to hear Yamo be there one more time, I'm going to Yamo burn this podcast down.
Can I just say? I think we should just end the show on that. We should just end it on that bombshell.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah, we do. I think big up to Wayne, big up to 17 trophies. But I'm just talking from 62 onwards. I know how many trophies we won, Adrian, but I was more talking about 62 onwards that we've become more of a cup side than anything else. I do get, though, 17 trophies, but I was just making the point, cup side. We've become a cup side. Big up to Michael. Big up to Lee. 2008 League Cup semi-final amongst the others. Yeah, that's true. Well, guys, we will leave it there. I need to go and have a cup of tea and go and say hello to Mrs. Tron.
Excellent.
I think Steve and James, James or Steve or the Trouble Brothers will be back. As you know, it's called you Trouble Brothers. I think James might get one getting that.
The Trouble Brothers. I don't.
Yeah.
What's the reference? Quickly, what's the reference?
Don't you dare. I hope you are not thinking of, instead of the Trouble Brothers, I hope you are not comparing me and Steve to the Chuckle Brothers.
I'm not. What do you think that? Seriously. Seriously.
I was thinking, I was just like, really?
No, I call you the Trouble Brothers because you always get me into trouble. There you go.
What you get yourself into trouble, Dermo?
I
It's
do
not
that
nothing to do with me and Steve.
So James, are we going to be on for 6 o'clock Eastern midnight tonight for a quick little recap? Perfect.
Yeah, definitely.
And then you will have me and James tomorrow. We've got a pre-record coming out, and then we're live at 8. Me and James with all the latest news, views, and everything to do with Tottenham Hotspur. Tuesday, I'm going to have the day off because me and James have got to pick a game which we're going to do a watch along on Big Up. Or the Tuesday or Wednesday, which is better for you?
Probably Tuesday.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we're not
a lot of confidence in that one, James.
No, I'm just thinking. I'm Hang on a second.
Because I really want to laugh at Arsenal losing.
Yeah, that's Wednesday, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, actually, Wednesday's good.
Okay, so Tuesday, I'm going to have the day off because I've got shitloads of work to get done before I go to England on Friday. And then on Wednesday, me and James will be on the Big Up for the Arsenal game. We're going to laugh at Arsenal losing the second leg to Paris Saint-Germain. Thursday, we've got our match day for the match day build up. We have also Wednesday, there will be a pre-record out as well for a match. I predicted lineups, match day thoughts as well. So we're going to get together and get that done. Thursday, we've got all the match day stuff. Friday, I'm on I'll be live from England at 10 with a show. Just a general hello world. I'm still alive. I've made the flight. I've now safely landed in England. And then I hate flying. You do realize that. I am shit scared of flying. So I'm not looking forward to this.
Maybe we should have a Dermo cam while you're flying, Dermo.
We are.
Dermo cam.
Yeah, you are. There is going to happen. Believe me.
I am literally shitting myself on this airplane.
I cannot stand flying. Never have done since I was a kid. I've always hated flying, but I've always flew though. I've always had the guts to get on the plane and fly there.
I'm not a big fan of the takeoffs. I can do the 35,000 feet and landing. It's just the takeoffs.
Oh, thanks, Ed. Yeah. You've read it. Jesus Christ, Mayo. Can you ever make my Sunday happy? Anyway, we're in England. Are you heading to Lee? I'm heading to the Tottenham game on. Oh, what was it? Yeah. Why is that not coming up? Oh, there we go. Yeah, I'm heading to the game next Sunday, the Palace game. So I'm down in Tottenham from Friday until Monday. So fancy popping down. I think Colin is trying to pop down for the Sunday game. But if you want to pop down, that's where I'll be, and I'll put up on the YouTube post where I will be. I want to thank Steve again. Do get over to Stateside Footy till we die, the best American Spurs channel in America. I want to thank you to James as well for bringing his wit, his enthusiasm, his knowledge, his sarcasm, everything else that he brings.
Yeah,
and
just bringing me.
Yeah, and I want to thank me for just being in Egypt and coming on just to trying to derail shows when I'm trying to be. When these guys are trying to be professional, I'm just trying to be me. I don't know how to do it, but thank you all. And thank you, Gerard. Do you really have to depress me even more? Seriously.
I'm just trying to eat breakfast.
1 goal to 16 points to 1 goal, 14 points. There's only 14, 15, 2 points in it. Come on, Mio. Come on, Mio. Listen, we'll let you know the result of that game. I'll give the result to the lads, and they will bring you the latest from that West Ireland derby. Whatever you're doing, enjoy the rest of your day. Steve, thank you again for your help
Yes,
today.
sir.
James, thank you so much for your help. Feel really appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
As I said, these guys have been absolutely an absolute delight to have on the channel. They've brought our channel to a new level, and we're only better things to come. So join them tonight at midnight when I'm sort of playing Batman and trying to complete Arkham City again.
Batman.
Yeah. I know I've completed Arkham Knight. I've done Arkham's Asylum. I'm just trying to complete
Very
Arkham
cool.
City again. So I love
Excellent.
game. But on that bombshell, we have drawn 1-1 with West Ham. I'm out of here. See you later. Come on, you Spurs. In the big
Come on,
cockerel
you
we
Spurs.
trust. We
All
Come
I
on, you
care
Spurs.
about is Kulusevski.
I wasn't. Could you do that again? Because I wasn't actually right to finish the stream. So could you do that again, please?
Oh, I don't care about
Levy.
Levy don't care about
Me.
All I care
All I
about
care
is
about
Kulusevski. 1, 2, 3, 4.
See you later, guys. Come on, you Spurs.